Hey there, if you've thought of growing your own food but think you need large raised beds, a whole bunch of yard, I'm going to show you one yard we're going to transform with just some pots into a little mini food forest. This is the home of my sister and my brother-in-law. They have a normal home. They live in an association. They can't be growing wild, but they have managed to put a lot of fruit trees on their property there, right by the water there. And they every year grow their own veggies in these raised pots, in these little pots. So today my brother-in-law is traveling for some personal family matters, so I'm going to surprise him when he comes back by filling all of these pots with brand new starts. I started from seed at home. So here we go. So here's what is left over from last year. I'm sure this is what's happened to you guys. You know, weeds all over your yard. We're gonna have to pull all these. We're gonna amend these pots. Their rosemary is fine. They're gonna, you know, just need some little water and some TLC, but it'll pick up. We have a lot of basil from last year left over. And the cool thing about this is all of these, you can pull your seeds, save them, and start your seeds from these. They'll be climatized, so that's awesome. And he's got all of these pots. He grows in each one of these pots. His tomatoes, these are from last year. Look at those. There's still some, those look like Everglades maybe from last year, or some cherry tomatoes from last year. He has these small little planters here. We're gonna fill them up with some bok choy, because my sister likes bok choy. And if you look, because they were covered during the summer, it's not that bad. We have the sandy soil, so we'll add some worm composting. We'll add some amendments, but this is not bad at all. Let's take a look at their trees now that we're here. Look how beautiful. These bananas come from a banana pup that we pulled from my banana plants. There was one little tiny one, and now they have a whole big banana patch. They get bananas all the time. And if you actually think of, you know, how do you get a banana patch? This is all we pulled last time for them. You pulled one of these little pups, you separate it from the root, and then you transplant it elsewhere, and then this happens. Now, with a banana plant like this, every time you get a banana bunch, you have to take that down, because if not, this goes crazy and they'll only give you once. So you pull that out, the next one pops up, and you'll have bananas forever. They have Barbados cherry here. They ate a lot of their Barbados cherry. It's not in season right now. Their avocados, their papayas, heavy, heavy feeders. Look at that. So there we go. Let's get started with their yard. All right, so I cleared the planters, and there they are, nice and clean. She still has a lot of rosemary here. I'm going to leave those there. I'll find out if she wants to take these out, because we can save those seeds and get a new basil going. That looks better. Same thing with this one. I cleared out one of the tomato cages here. The other one still has some tomatoes in there, so I don't know if she wants to separate those into different plants, but basically what she has, or what they have, are a bunch of tomato plants that volunteered here. So that means that the seeds fell and created all these different plants. So she could actually separate all of these into different planters and have tomatoes for the whole neighborhood. All right, same thing with this basil plant. They're really good at taking these out, but like in my family, we've had some issues this year. They've had some issues this year, so they let it go to seed. Once they go to seed, they start dying off. But again, if you want to save the seed, you wait for them to dry. You shake these, and then you can save the seeds. And if they grew in your yard, the next time you plant them, they'll be even hardier. So let's pause for a second so I can show you. These are the little basil flowers when they die out. If you let it go to seed, I mean, if you want your basil plant to keep going, you cut off the flowers continuously. But sometimes you walk away, you forget, and it goes to seed. But the good thing is you shouldn't have to buy any more basil seeds. All you have to do is crunch up these little flowers. And look at this. Look, let me just bring them together. All of these are basil seeds. So you never have to buy basil seeds again. And the good thing about these seeds is that once they've grown in your yard, they're going to be stronger in your climate. So they're going to adapt. So these are the best seeds for your yard now. And then I just put them in these little bags. Save them for the next time you want to start some basil seeds. And there you have it. All those seeds were for free. And then this just goes to the compost bin. So I did bring way too many plants for the space I'm seeing. So I have to select what I'm gonna do. I know they do like bok choy, so I brought all of these plants, but we're not gonna be able to put all of these in, I realize. I know that they like bok choy, so we'll definitely put some bok choy, some cabbage, some tomatoes. I did bring one cucumber, some cabbage, and some peppers. So now I got to figure out what I can actually put in. And because the planters have last year's soil, they've been depleted. I did bring some raised garden bed because, you know, we lost some soil because of the rain. So I had to refill. I brought some worm casting to add some nutrients and some organic fertilizer as well. And then from my mulch pile, I just brought some mulch to top it off. So here we go. All right, so there you have it. I cleaned up their rosemary because that's beautiful. I just added a little bit of mulch and took out some weeds in there. They have some red pepper here, some ajica chucha, which is a small little Cuban pepper. It's really nice. Put some New Zealand spinach in. That does really well here in South Florida. So they can have some spinach for their omelets. And I have a Roma tomato here. San Marzano. These are two that I use for sauces. You can eat them anyway, but you know they're really good for sauce making. Bok choy, they like bok choy, so I put 2 bok choy in there and a little baby cabbage. We'll see how that one goes because it's kind of tiny. Here we added another ajica chucha. The cucumber, it'll trellis up here, and that'll be good because when they get heavy, they can hang on to this. When my brother-in-law comes back, I will ask him to go through this because these are a bunch of volunteer tomato plants. So basically the seeds that fell from last year, they came into the little ground and started all these seeds. You don't want to have this mess. You want to pick, I would pick, say this one here, pick a couple, and you can transplant the rest. So these are probably going to be very hardy because they've been climatized, they've been hardened here in his backyard. Left a couple of the basil plants that are still going. Here in these 2 beds, I cleaned them up, left their herbs there, but I have a Swiss chard going on here, a red Russian kale, which is just really well here in South Florida, and your classic dino kale. Both of these last year went all through to the summer for me and my home, which is a few miles from here. So hopefully it'll do really well, and they gave us a lot of kale. So there you have it. You don't need a huge backyard or big planters to grow your own food. And here's proof. Excited to see their reaction when they see it. And as always, if you found this video useful, if you have a small backyard and this gave you some ideas, hit the like and subscribe button. That way you always get an alert when one of my new videos pops up. Happy gardening.